Hello viewers and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I'm your host, Hamza Idris. The Presidential Elections Petition Tribunal has scheduled Wednesday, September 6 as the day for delivering its verdict on the petitions challenging the presidential election held on February 25. President Bala Tinubu was declared winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission, but his victory was contested by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and Peter Obi of the Labour Party, among others. Atiku argued that Tinubu's victory should be invalidated due to alleged violations of the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral Act, while Obi sought to be declared the winner of the election. Previously, on August 1, the tribunal had reserved its judgment without specifying the date for the verdict. However, on Monday, Chief Registrar Umar Bangari confirmed that the five-member panel had agreed on Wednesday as the judgment day and emphasized that media access to the proceedings will be strictly limited to accredited personnel. And elsewhere, the Nigeria Labour Congress is set to initiate a two-day warning strike on September 5 as a preliminary step towards a complete shutdown that will commence in 21 days. The decision was reached during the National Executive Council meeting held in the early hours of Friday. In a communique jointly signed by the National President Joe Ajero and the Secretary Emmanuel Ogboja, the NLC explained that it arrived at this choice due to the failure of the Tinubu government to engage in dialogue with the organized labor and involve stakeholders in addressing the adverse impacts of removing subsidies on premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, particularly affecting the disadvantaged population. In August, the Labour had organized a one-day protest that disrupted activities in major cities across the country. Additionally, the NLC cited various other reasons for mobilizing its members for a nationwide shutdown, including allegations of the Nigeria police laying siege to the national headquarters of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, alleged exploitation in Imo State, interference in trade union affairs by the IBS state government, and the proposed demolition by the new Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Speake, among many other grievances. And on the program tonight, I'm joined by the former governor of Adamawa State, Barrister Bala Nggilari. He's also a lawyer and a member of the APC Professionals Forum. He joins us to discuss a variety of issues in the polity, as well as those within his party, the APC, and the group they are spearheading. Welcome to the program, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much.
We're happy having you in our studio after a very long search and all that.
I'm happy to be here too.
All right,
it's a privilege.
All right.
Yes,
Viewers, we'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Yes, Your Excellency, once again, welcome to our program. I would like to have your take on, of course, without prejudice to what will happen, the Election Petition Tribunal. On Wednesday is the D-Day. What is your take? The long wait.
Of course, for me, after all said and done, we'll finally get to hear the verdict of the five-man tribunal, and that is the way it should be. My appeal to all Nigerians, either of the APC or other parties or any other extraction, is that whatever comes of this judgment, we'll take it in good faith. Because Nigeria is greater than any of us. Greater than any political party.
Anybody.
Anybody. It doesn't matter whether it is our sitting president or any other presidential aspirant. We need to know that in the eyes of the world, the black race and so many nations look up to Nigeria. And we should be able to give the benefit of doubt to our learned justices who sat over this case and not to resort to innuendos and all kinds of things. The judiciary is the last hope of the common man. And let's take it in our strides when the judgment is delivered, and we ensure that the unity of the country becomes sacrosanct.
Yes, sacrosanct. And that is my fear, Your Excellency. You see people calling out our revered judges with disdain. Is that the right way to go?
Absolutely not. I share that. Now, looking back, I think I say, thank God that I didn't accept to go to the bench when it was offered to me many, many years ago.
Oh, you were offered to go to the bench. Why did you reject it?
I was offered to go to the bench by the Borno State Judiciary and my own state in Adamawa. And as I talked to you, many of my mates that were called to the bar, either in the Court of Appeal or in the Supreme Court. But there are times, because those, I know so many of them as wonderful justices. But I mean, they have been the subject of bashing left, right, and center. Unfortunately, the judges cannot come out into the press to defend themselves.
That is by their calling, right?
By their calling. And in fact, that was one reason why I said, I'm not going to withstand this bashing.
You rather remain a lawyer.
I rather remain a lawyer, as it were.
Before you venture into politics.
Yes, because it's very, very unfair to them. People who cannot express their own side of the view. But we have to understand that in every contest, in every case that goes to court, there must always be one loser and one winner.
Yes.
It cannot be anything otherwise. So those who will lose should take it
in good faith.
In good faith. There will be another day.
Yeah, of course, some have started beating the drum of war.
Yes.
They're just waiting, especially bullying on social media and all that. What is your call to the youths ahead of the verdict?
The youth should know the future belongs to them. We are the ones winding down and handing over to this next generation. There is no better country to live in, and that has great future and potentials for every Nigerian, including the youth in particular, than this Nigeria. Wherever you go to outside Nigeria, you are a stranger. You are a second-class citizen.
Yeah.
Nobody should instigate them. Anybody that seeks to instigate them, let him first and foremost bring his own children to lead the instigation or whatever it is. But from the vantage point of what we've seen in this life, we must know that God gave us a wonderful country that is there for all of us. Nigeria is so endowed. It can meet up all our legitimate needs if we have good governance. They should not be, nobody should push them into doing what will be inimical to the unity and progress of this country.
And finally, do you think the other contenders will be statesmanly, I mean, in terms of accepting whatever comes out? We're talking about Atiku, we're talking about Peter Obi and others.
No, in fact, what I said generally applies to all, including our own candidate, Bola Tinubu,
the president,
DCMR, and because we don't know, it is difficult for me to tell you which direction this.
Also as a lawyer,
yes, even as a lawyer, but suffice it to say, this is our only country. We must take this judgment in good faith.
We must remain together
and remain together.
All right.
Afterwards, whichever way the decision comes, there is still a step further up. People can still go to the Supreme Court, and where you exploit the possibility of appeals, whoever it is that stands, I mean, that says he doesn't accept the verdict, he can still try up in the Supreme Court.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And the other tidbits, you can see protests looming. The organized labor is planning to go on strike. You think it's worth it?
My brother, I'll tell you that I've done some bit of research. There's no country in the world where strikes and these kind of things have ever occurred on the frequency it has happened, like Nigeria. Why must we resort to strikes all the time? One day of strike, when translated in economic terms, is a huge loss for the country.
Wow.
We must always try to explore possibility of settlement. It is the best way forward, you know. And I beg the NLC, and thank God this TUC, I've seen something that I think there appears to be some kind of division.
Yeah, between the TUC and going by what is out there in the media. Yes.
We must be able to argue from the perspective of what in the end will be the best for our country. And not resorting to strikes ought to be the very, very, very last thing that anybody should embark on.
But don't you think they are being altruistic? Of course, they are still collecting their salary, but what they are saying is that it is the downtrodden, you know, those who don't even earn a salary, they can't even eat. And it appears that the federal government is not really responsive to some of these calls in terms of addressing the impact of fuel subsidy removal.
I mean, are they the best persons to decide what is happening at the lower ranks of society?
Who's supposed to decide?
I mean, okay, let me see it this way.
All right.
This government came into place. It has inherited a backlog of so many things. I mean, going back to probably 20, 30 years, that didn't begin with this government. And there is no magic one that any other person would have done to say, Sesame, open the gates and the solution is solved. Therefore, and as you can see, in all fairness, President Tinubu has been steadily tackling these things, as it were, beyond my wildest expectation. And it will take some time for us to see the results of
the positive impact.
Yes, but the problem with the Nigerian is he's so impatient. He wants result immediately. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. I do know that give this regime the steady rate at which they are going, give this regime the next 6 months, if that is assuming the election favors the APC government. Believe me, by January, I posit that we'll begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Why are you so optimistic?
No, I am, because look at it, for example.
Yes.
One very radical decision that the Tinubu government has taken is to say no more borrowing. For me, this is a wonderful economic step. They are saying whatever we will do will be, in terms of development, will be based on what we can generate internally. We will not borrow again. Nigerians are overburdened.
Yeah.
You cannot castigate and say the borrowing that took place was not
over 70 trillion,
yes,
right?
Was not the product that President Tinubu himself did. It was a collectivity of those who were there before him. And I would dare say some of these borrowings or whatever also cut across. There was support that was sought from even some across party lines, people who are governors that supported all those things that were done. And to expect that there will be result of this thing immediately will not work. So why don't we therefore try and do the needful by ensuring that we do not hit the system.
Yeah.
Instead, give them. You must give somebody the latitude to exhaust all those he can do. before he resort to condemnation.
Okay.
And what is more, here is a government that appears to be a listening government. I've seen some criticisms done, like the initial attempt by the government to give Nigerians some 5,000, 8,000 palliative.
Yeah.
There was massive criticism, and the government made a U-turn. That is where it should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you think that Tinubu is on the right footing, going by the caliber of people he has appointed as ministers? You know, there are 1 or 2 boards that he has made some changes also. What is your take on that?
Believe me, in terms of the composition of the cabinet, I cannot say he's wrong. He did so many things. I think must have informed his decisions to put people where they are. Now, let me demonstrate the fact that we too should give him the benefit of doubt in regards to what he has done in his appointment. Look at my good friend, Barrister Kiamo, the lawyer, senior advocate. He was placed in the aviation ministry. Believe me, in the last 8 years, there was a professional person who was manning the aviation sector. Now, but for me, without prejudice, whatever the former minister has done, you can see the direction, the new direction. Kiamo, a lawyer who is not
has
an expert,
affinity with.
Already he has set the ball rolling. I see a revolution in the aviation sector coming. One fell swoop, they said the entire Murtala Mohammed Airport, the gateway to Nigeria, must be closed down. There has to be a renovation. This is thinking out of the box.
So it's not just about maybe you being a lawyer, or you maybe Attorney General. Maybe there is an exception to that.
Absolutely.
But you think that once somebody attains certain level in the society, he can fit in anywhere?
Absolutely. What you do need are experts who will advise you. You take the advice of experts. Look at somebody like President Kagame in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Everybody is hailing what the man is doing. At a stage, his the growth of the economic growth of Rwanda surpassed any other in the world. Our governor has just returned from Kagame, where they went and had some retreat.
To learn certain things. This is once a war-ravaged country.
Yes, between the Tutsis and the Hutus, you know what happened. This is leadership, by example. That you see, Rwanda is a landlord country, but look at what they are doing.
They are now tourism destination.
All about.
So you believe that maybe taking people like Dele Alake, who is actually information guru, information management guru, to solid minerals, there is nothing wrong in that.
I don't see it until, well, we give him time. If he doesn't perform, we make noise.
Even just yesterday, he gave ultimatum to illegal miners that they have to register and all that.
Yes.
But are you not worried with the size of the cabinet? Here we are trying to manage, asking Nigerians to bear the burden, but we have an elaborate cabinet by the president.
Well, I think when a president has to take decisions, he has to balance between politics and economic realities. Here he is divided between, let me do something to assuage those who supported me, but taking into consideration the real economic realities.
Yeah.
I'll still give him the benefit of that. What is more, you can see him addressing certain things that were in the past
took time.
In the past were things that would have unnerved people. For instance, those who are going to the United Nations in New York to attend. He has said anybody. He has drawn a line. Here are the persons who will go. Unlike in the past where it was a jamboree of Nigerians overtaking the whole place.
We always had the largest
entourage.
And
the president is saying, no, this must stop. I think these are the kind of things that propel me to say, this president, we must give him the benefit of doubt.
Okay, we'll continue to give him. Now, over to your group, the All Progressive Congress Professionals Forum. Yes. Is it a new innovation? And what informed the name Professionals, APC Professionals?
No, as the name says, it is a collection of professionals. Could be a journalist.
You are a lawyer.
I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
I could be a journalist. It could be. We have everybody from experts in rocket science to the ordinary man, professionals who are concerned about giving us massive agricultural input and results on the field. We are a collection of all professionals.
Bankers, like the chairman, right?
Absolutely, like the chairman, who is a banker.
Former governor of Bauchi.
Doctors, yes, doctors, and all other professionals that you can possibly think of. Engineers, highway civil engineers, electrical engineers. It is a resort, it is a hub that has the very best. And our existence is predicated on the fact that we thought there should be a reservoir of talents like this which the government can always consult. We can have an input into what we think ought to be done, and we can advise government where we think things are not going well. We should advise government without
prejudice.
Without prejudice. Yeah. So that it is a bunch of professionals that have decided to collectively offer their assistance, not only to our APC government in pursuit of our manifesto or the renewed hope agenda, but the success and good governance of Nigeria as a country.
And is it that you identified maybe leadership vacuum along the way that prompted you to come up with this forum?
Not really necessarily, but the fact that we thought a collection of intellectuals and professionals like this can always be opinion molders that will shape government thinking, projects, conception, and execution.
Yeah.
And that will be able to, and where we think government, MDAs and other agencies of government are going wrong, we will, without fear or favor, interject and say that this, in our view, this is wrong, this is the way to go.
Yeah.
And that is what informed us, because we are self-sustaining.
Oh, there is no any impress from anyone.
In fact, we have decided to levy ourselves to be contributing to host all those things we have done.
So you want to remain like a think tank?
Think tank, yeah, think tank.
You met with the president in August, if I remember correctly. And how was the conversation?
It was excellent. The person of the president, and I'll say that to any politician too, they appreciate, by the time you are in the saddle of the president, so many things happen that you don't know about.
Yeah.
But if you have a second force outside your cabinet, they'll always draw your attention to this is what is happening and this needs to be done. Mr. President appreciates this. And he really welcomed us. And
you offered some advice.
Yes, we have
in terms
offered.
Of economy.
Yes. And I tell you, behind the scene, we are also interacting with him because he expressed his sincere gratitude to the professional forum, and will continue to interface and give him advice that will take us to the next level in this country.
During the previous administration, we saw lag, in terms of decision making, especially when it is time to rejig, certain aspect of governance.
Yes.
But don't you think this president is rushing of sorts, like maybe changing boards of agencies? We know that during the Buhari era, we raised questions. They said no, they are obeying the ground norm, that some of these agencies, they were appointed at the twilight of the Jonathan administration. So they allowed them to now, phase out their tenure before he appointed others. But we've started seeing Tinubu changing some of these things. You think is continuity in action?
Well, frankly, I'll be very slow in coming to the conclusion that whether what the president is doing is right or wrong. I mean, there are certain things, privileges, information that are available to a president that we, the outside public, are not privy to.
Yes.
I would say that there are certain things which, when I was governor, were available to me that the ordinary man on the street would not know. If the decisions is taken are informed by that, probably advice from hierarchy, from the security or whatever, we cannot question him. But all I would ask him to do is to double think and slow and make sure the decisions that are taken are in the overall interest of Nigeria.
Were you surprised with the recall of career and non-career ambassadors from all over the world? Nigeria has around 109 diplomatic missions worldwide, 76 embassies, 22 high commissions, 11 consulates.
Honestly, let me tell you this.
All right.
I know of some first-class non-career ambassadors that have performed excellently abroad since their appointment. I can talk very well about those that I know who are from Adamawa. They did excellently well
in their place
of posting. But when things like that take place, a few innocent people are bound to suffer. But generally, believe me, I think the president has taken the right decision. Let me give an example. When I was in the House of Reps.
Yeah, this was 2003?
2007.
Yes.
We took a trip, official trip to Austria on the Committee on Habitat. We were in Austria. And of course, we got to our embassy in Austria. You can't believe the decadence that we saw
at the building.
In fact, it will shock you to know what do I call it?
I'm talking about the chairs there,
the chairs, the carpets that were in those installed and laid in those embassies building were the ones that were laid there since 1979, when late President Shehu Erado,
that was 20 years, if I get it right,
Shagari was in power.
That is between 79 and 1983.
Absolutely.
And you went there maybe between 2003 and 2007.
I think we went there 2005 or 6.
Wow.
Those were the same carpets. And come to think about the incessant problems that even Nigerians abroad face in terms of renewal of their passports, granting of visas to those who have the interest to come and invest in Nigeria. It's a Herculean task.
What are they doing, the diplomats?
So you ask, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah.
No, honestly, I will support hook, line, and sinker what the president did. But in regigging, believe me, there must be people of character that he will send out there to represent us. Because once you are out there, you are the face of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he is to fill around 109. This is apart from supporting staff.
Yes.
These are ambassadors, high commissioners, and heads of consulates.
Yes. He will need to really do some serious investigation about who and who ought to go and man these embassies and the supporting staff there. But I agree with him in total that what he has done this time around is good. And
All
many
right.
Nigerians will help.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We'll go on a break. Viewers, we'll go on a short break and we'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. Still having the studio, Barrister Bala Nggilari, former governor of Adamawa State, former member of House of Representatives, now a member of the All Progressive Congress Professionals Forum. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, if I remember correctly, you served as member of the Constitutional Conference, 1994 to 1995.
Yes.
You also served as member of the Human Rights Violation Investigation Committee, popularly known as Oputa Panel, created by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. From all this, are there any takeaways that you feel deeply pained that they have not been implemented?
Well, you know, at the Constitutional Conference in 1994-95, the document that we ended with, which I would say is the harbinger of what later became the 1999 Constitution, was a very good document. But of course, those that held power then amended it. And that we would have been glad if that document was allowed to take the shape it did, because what we then thought about was, given the peculiarity of Nigeria, with 6 geopolitical zones that we proposed, we created at that time, let the presidency go around.
Okay, that was the provision.
Yes, that was part of our recommendation.
Okay.
Let the presidency of this Nigeria go around one term of 5 years, I think, for each zone.
Oh.
It would then have taken out a cycle of 60 years, 30 years. Every
To go around the
yes,
6 geopolitical
yes.
zones.
And then it will be flung open to anybody.
Because your expectation was that
yes.
every section must have tested, and
Yes.
then maybe we'll now agree that we need a national leader.
Now we
also.
need a national leader who would have matured. But for reasons best known to those in power, that was not allowed.
And you think this is one of the reasons we've been having issues up till now? That is our turn.
It's our turn. I think so. But I think now we should be able to move away from that.
Okay.
The African Nigerian today, all he wants is good governance.
Yeah, but what is your definition of good governance, and how can we attain?
The way to define good governance is to demonstrate by examples of what I think ought to be good governance. First of all, anybody in place of government, whether elected or appointed, must bear in mind that there is a trust that God has given you to manage people or resources at whatever level and in whatever capacity. For me, every day I live with eternity in view, meaning someday I will leave this planet and transit after death to somewhere. A Muslim and a Christian, we believe in eternity somewhere after
there
this
is
life.
Heaven, there is hell.
And for me, as a Christian, you can only go to either heaven or hell. I fear going to hell, believe me. And for me, therefore, if you give me trust, I want to hold on to it so that when God calls me home, I should be able to say,
you'll be accountable. This
is what you gave me in trust, and I did the best I can. Therefore, if you start off from the fact of fear of God, then whether you're a civil servant or you're a politician, you need not, somebody somewhere need not be spying on you to ask you to do the right thing.
You should
the
do
fear
it.
of God will instanter make you to do the right thing. And if you want, I can give a practical demonstration.
Yes,
now, when I was in government.
Yes, as governor of
you've been in government
for a very long time.
No, I was governor of Adamawa. Not as a deputy governor.
Okay.
I was a deputy governor for 7.5 years. And then by divine providence, I became a governor.
Yeah.
From October 2014
to May.
To
you
May
handed over to
Governor Bindo.
Yes.
Now, not too long after I became governor, somebody, I will not give names or that.
Yes.
Somebody came to me and said, look, he has supplied fertilizer to Adamawa State worth 4.5 billion.
4.5 billion. Yes.
And he sought to give me the document that will sign to facilitate payment of his money. Because with that, if I had signed that document, he would then come to the Federal Ministry of Finance
in Abuja,
and the payment would be staggered into 3 or 4. He would be paid his money. And the man was so desperate, and I made a quick check and asked my staff to check from the Ministry of Agriculture how much was it he had
due for him.
Yes. I asked him to come the next day. The results showed me that the totality of what he supplied was about 100 million naira. Yeah.
100 million?
100 million.
And he claimed?
Yes, 4.5
billion.
Now, it will shock you to know I received calls even from Abuja, from highly placed people, that I should help this man.
You help him?
Yes,
at the detriment
to collect his money. Now, he was prepared. First of all, he was prepared to give me the equivalent of 800 million naira in dollar bills. Then.
That time?
Yes.
2014.
Yes, I think early,
No,
it was 2014.
Yeah.
About a month or so after I was sworn in. Now, when he didn't find me agreeing with him, he said, okay, he could even give up to 1 billion.
1 billion?
Yes.
Do you have such amount in your bank account then?
No, certainly not. And then I said to him, now, he followed me to my house, and I said to him, my brother, as we sit here in my office, it's you and me and God. If I say, I could easily say, bring me this money, dollar bills, nobody will know, nobody will see. It's only you and me, But guess what? I like money, but this is not the type of money I will ever subscribe to. Has it occurred to you that while if I collect this money today and I move up to my room and you go away, I sign this document that you have given me and you go, nobody will see us. There is no third party, no policeman, nobody is here. But has it occurred to you that tonight God can call me, God can take my life? If God takes my life, are you saying when I die and cross over, the first thing that I will meet my Creator is this money you've given me? What would I say? I mean, he was stung. He couldn't answer me.
So you didn't collect the money?
So eventually, no, I didn't. Of course I didn't. I said, go with your money. But I will not release this document.
And you didn't release it?
I didn't release it. I'm sure
have you ever held like 1 billion your own?
Myself?
Yes.
If I see 1 billion, I will faint. Because
then why did you become the first victim of courts? You know, because between 1999,
yes,
it was after you left office, is it 160 something million?
Yes,
you were sent to prison.
In fact, the good thing is that you see, the greatest difficulty for a person who tries to be honest and righteous in this life is that you gather so many enemies. Till tomorrow, I say it boldly, without fear or favor. If you take the proceedings of the court that arraigned me on 5-count charge, there is not one count of the 5 that say I took 1 naira or diverted 1 naira. Not one.
Is it that the allegation of due process?
Well, they say procurement, we bought vehicles without following due process. But guess what? Section 42 and 43, I believe, of the Adamawa State Procurement Law says in a state of emergency, you can put on hold the provisions and deal direct. We were in a state of emergency in terms of, you know very well, Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe were under state of emergency.
I was reporting from there.
Yes, and the requirement of the law that we must advertise procurement in the paper and call others to come, or, you know, those were suspended for the purposes of the emergency we were met with. We had to buy 50 hillocks for the use of our people who were the security persons who were there. And guess what? Even the lady who supplied these vehicles was also arraigned, but was discharged and acquitted, just like me. So it was a political witch hunt, absolutely no more, no less.
Has anyone sought for your forgiveness thereafter?
No, if they don't need to. I've forgiven them. You see, in our religions, you must forgive. Particularly, if you as a Christian doesn't forgive, whatever prayer you do, God doesn't hear it. You must forgive. And but I will appeal to prosecuting agencies, particularly with the new Attorney General, a very good person who has been versatile they must really do some real legal advice, check the facts before you arraign somebody in court.
You served as governor for a very short time.
Just short time.
Yes. Have you contemplated going to vie for the office again?
Well, quite frankly, I did under pressure, but again, you know, one of these things is that when you don't have money to spend, no matter what happened? Let me tell you the reason. You know, I tried to contest for Senate too, under APC when
to represent Michika,
to be senatorial. I went around toured, and when 2-3 days to the election, to the primaries, I reached out to the delegates through my director general and those my coordinators. The delegates told me, look, sir, when it comes to the right person to go for this Senate, you are the right person. But honestly, we'll be sincere and honest with you. We cannot accept 100,000 naira, which you want to offer us to help. My idea was that I could offer 100,000 naira for probably 200 people. That will come to about 20 million. Yes. So that you can go and start something at home with 100,000.
It's not bribe.
They said, no, to help them start something. I mean, 100,000 at that time is something. You know, they said, no, sir, we will not collect your 100,000 because somebody else. There are people who are willing to give us 1 million naira per delegate. So
you pack your things and went back to Yola.
I withdrew from the race. Even after I bought form, I paid 20 million plus, I withdrew from the race. I said to Asokalafia.
Oh my God. You served as deputy governor for quite a long time, you know, with Governor Inyako.
Yes.
Have you had any issue with him? One. And then secondly, because we are rounding up, you can see what is happening in Edo now. The governor had to even remove his deputy, to another location outside the government house. What is the problem? You served as deputy governor.
Yes, I served as deputy governor. And if you find that, you will say, even my own boss, because we got on so well, he even nicknamed me Deputy Governor Damome Hakuri in Hausa.
Damome Hakuri, the patient one.
He said Sarkin Hakuri.
Sarkin Hakuri.
Not even my Hakuri, Sarkin Hakuri.
Emir of patience. Let me go literal. Yes.
We got on very well with my boss. I had no vaulty ambition for anything. If you know my background, the son of a nobody. My father was a primary school teacher. And God had propelled me to where I am today. I can sit with people like you, with other giants. I mean, I have to thank God for that. So I had never had any
just a reporter, ambition. Yes.
No, you are not an ordinary reporter. Even though, like I said, I had never had vaulty ambition. I went to the Constitutional Conference.
Yeah.
My people chose me, not because I was the best. After the Constitutional Conference, they asked me to contest to the House of Representatives. I was not the best, even to be a member of the Constitutional Conference.
And I remember, I think you won. You won, right? Yes. When Inyako now picked you, you won a second term for the House of Reps.
I had already won my second term to come to the House of Representatives when the wisdom of Nyako and those close people decided
Jibril, Aminu, and others.
Very fantastic people. They decided that I should be the running mate to Nyako. And their thinking was that, I don't know how to translate it in English, Bazan kunchewa Nyako bante akaswa ba.
Yeah, balaka tuna mush balaka kunche balaka bashi kunya ba.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it. And I think this is why, till to date, there's virtually every 3 weeks or so, I visit Nyako, we sit down, we crack jokes. It's unfortunate what is happening in Edo.
And many other places, because we have seen that.
Yes. Yeah. I think maybe it's a misnomer to have created the institution of the deputy governor. But for a deputy governor that has no vaulting ambition, that leaves his fate in the hands of God, there shouldn't be any straining relationship. Because God gives power to whoever he wills at any time he wills. If God says, I am sure if my father could see me from his grave, I mean, it never ever would I have contemplated that I would ever be a member of the House of Reps, not to talk of a deputy governor, or not to talk of...
But some are saying that you couldn't become governor because during the crisis with Inyako, when he was impeached, right? Or whatever, you took your letter of resignation to the wrong place.
No. I tell you what, my junior brother, Fintiri, who is governor today, he was the speaker. He was the
speaker, yes.
He said, we are going to impeach you people, and we will start with you. He sent his deputy to me and said, give us your letter of resignation. Because in the order constitutional hierarchy, that is the way it should. The deputy governor must resign before they deal with the governor. I wrote my impeachment in accordance with the dictates of the Constitution, addressed it to my boss Nyako, and copied it to the speaker.
Okay.
But when it was handed over to him, he said, no, I should change it and address it to him.
This Fintiri?
Yes. I obliged, did it. And you see, God,
wonderful.
You see, there's always the God factor in the affairs of men. When I took and they accepted my resignation, little did they know that mistake of addressing the letter to him instead of to Nyako, which appeared in their votes and proceedings, what saved me. Because when we went to court, the court said, no, you can't address your resignation to the speaker. It must be addressed to the governor and copy to the speaker.
So you become governor by providence. So finally, in less than 30 seconds, what is your advice to Tinubu now in handling the affairs of the country and to Nigerians in approaching what the decisions being taken by him?
He should consult widely as he is doing now.
Okay.
and to our governors and those in places. Now we are talking about palliative.
Yeah.
For goodness sake, what is difficult in compiling, those who should go and use the register of voters at the unit level.
And they can use that.
That will give you an accurate register.
Exactly.
Why must people talk about compiling a new register?
When they have voters register. All right, thank you very much, Barrister Bala Nggilari, former governor of Adamawa State, member APC Professionals Forum. Thank you very much for coming to the program. I wish we have more time to discuss more.
Thank
but
you,
we hope
sir.
to have
Thank
you
sir.
soonest.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
I'm
and viewers,
grateful.
That's a wrap on today's package. We sincerely hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics Live, airing every weekday, and also our special package on Friday, during which we open our telephone line for you to comment on national issues. Once again, we thank you for watching. Bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.